Welcome to The Buzz. We're going to have some fun, hear things you will never hear anywhere else, and learn how to take 1 hour off your marathon PR. That may be an exaggeration, but I am Buzz Burrell, and we're going to have real conversations with the people who help define this amazing sport of running, which often feels like more than just a sport. So send me your questions and comments to buzz@ultrasignup.com so we can do this together. This is a production of Ultra Sign Up. Thank you for joining me. This episode is brought to you by Wahoo Kicker Run. Their sponsorship made this episode possible. Wahoo Kicker Run is a very high-end treadmill, a game changer for indoor training. It has run-free mode, so the belt automatically adjusts to your pace based on your position with no buttons or fuss. It's the closest thing to running outside without going outside. And you can train for running in the mountains, because the automatic grade control mimics real-world terrain, shifting from a negative 3% decline to a steep 15% incline. In case you're wondering, I am a big proponent of treadmill training. I personally go to the gym once or twice a week in the winter and during inclement weather, and treadmills are great for tempo runs, for uphills, and they help improve your running form. So check out the Wahoo Kicker Run at wahoofitness.com.
Hello, I'm Karen Merlin. I'm with the UTMB World Series. I'm the marketing and communications manager, and I've been with them since they launched the World Series circuit in end of 2021.
UTMB World Series. I think you've heard of that, haven't you? It's an iconic name in the world of mountain ultra trail running. UTMB, everyone has heard of it. So thanks for joining us, Karen.
My pleasure to be here.
So I want to clarify here, because I'm confused about this all the time. UTMB means the original race, 100-mile race around Mont Blanc. Hoka UTMB Mont Blanc means the series of 10 races of that week. The UTMB World Series is the group of 50 races that take place around the world.
Exactly, over 50 races around the world. So.
Over 50, that's a lot. So this is very interesting to me because there's been a little bit of controversy. It's like anytime someone is that pronounced and that powerful and that visible, other people start going, whoa, what are they doing? How are they affecting the sport and things like that? So I don't think so much in Europe, but at least in the United States, sometimes there's been some controversy. Sometimes there's been a little bit of pushback. But my understanding is that the UTMB World Series has been fairly progressive, including women participation, and other policies like that. Can you share some of that with us?
Sure. Yeah, there has been a lot of growth, and with growth comes growing pains, and I think that those are things that the sport has experienced, and that we've learned a lot as we've grown as well. So and really excited about a lot of the initiatives that we're working on to help bring more women into trail running. We kind of think through how do we get more women to the start line. It's a long process. It's not just saying sign up. So it's more about, we're working on kind of through multiple ways of first, demystifying and how, or I guess before we do so inspiring, can I?
Sure.
Okay. So we're working on first inspiring women to, get to the start lines, get into trail, and showing stories and showing women of other women doing it, and showing that it's possible, and then helping women get to the start lines through education and making it seem less scary.
One thing we've noticed, for some unknown reason, is that the participation of women in ultra running in particular is much higher in North America than it is in Europe. It's unclear why that is. So what do you think, or what numbers can you give us?
Yeah, it really has a lot to do. It's interesting regionally. In Oceania, the women's participation rate is around 44%. So that's one of the highest in the world. It's a lot lower in Europe, and then as you said, in the U.S., it's one of the higher ones as well. So I think there's a lot of aspects. It's culture, it's accessibility, also like how do we invite we invite women to our start lines, and what can we show them to make them feel welcome and ready to run on race day.
Because when it started, it wasn't that long ago, the female participation rate was really low.
Yeah, it was sitting, about 10 years ago, it was sitting at around 4 or 5%. So, for example, for UTMB, which is, it's a 100-mile race with a 10,000 meters elevation gain. It's a consequential race that we're now seeing a participation rate around 15%.
So from 4 to 5% to 15%.
It's good growth.
That's a big bump.
It's a big bump, but it's slow. It's not overnight, and there are a lot of things to put in place so that it does grow, and then it grows, more steadily and opens up to more and more runners. And also, a big difference too is what we see is the difference between women's participation in a shorter distance versus, in a 20K race, we're sitting around 50% female participation, 40 to 50%. And then it decreases about 10% as the distances go. And so really we're helping women to take that next step too, of stepping up to different distances. So some of the things that, we've done, for UTMB is we've working on, first it's showing their stories, showing inspiring women and making people want to be there with us and showing up on the start line. It's also having more women featured in our communications, in our marketing materials, in our broadcasts, making sure that women are seen and see themselves, in what we do and on the screen as well.
A blunt question, is the prize money equal?
Yes, it is. We've had equal prize money since 2018. So that's something that has been, one of our core values for quite a while, of making sure that was even.
There's been some commentary, I think, on broadcast. Sometimes the race coverage will follow the males and not follow the females quite as much. Do you think there's an aspect of that?
Yeah, I think I can understand that criticism. Race broadcasting is such a key way to get trail in front of more people. So that's something that, it's a really key initiative for us, and, so that people can follow the action and be a part of it. We, in our race broadcast plans, it is 50-50 of, we have making sure that the screen time, that we follow both male and female runners, the top 3 male and female runners throughout the course. In terms of, and we've done studies on, making sure that what we set out to do when we had the plan, sometimes, races don't always go to plan. So making sure that we can balance that as the races go on as well. Because sometimes, we're out in the, sometimes out in the middle of nowhere and reception isn't always good, or so it's kind of managing on the terrain and adapting to that. But, having 50-50 visibility of female runners on the broadcast is something that's key to us.
Thank you for saying that. I think the sport has come a long way in that regard. I think, like you said, 10 years ago, the participation rate was 4 or 5%. It's tripled. And like you said, you'd like it to be much higher, but you can't make people sign up, I guess.
No, but we definitely have our role to play in, making people feel more welcome. And so that's also, making sure on our start lines that we have, half women, half men, and that they're represented on the start line and throughout the race.
Because pardon me for saying it, because otherwise the guys are going to shoehorn into the front. No matter how fast they are, the guys are going to shoehorn into the front.
But also, one of the things is, being in race organizing, and when we've asked women to step up before, sometimes they would say, "Oh, I don't want to be on the start line." But we say, we need you to do it, not just for you. We need you to do it for the other women that are going to see you. And then they'll say, "Okay, I'll do it."
Interesting. So it's a complex situation, you could say. Here's something that's kind of somewhat straightforward. The pregnancy clause, which most men don't have to deal with, but females, they get entered, which is a big deal. They, they get enough points to get into the event, and if they get pregnant, do you have a deferral policy?
We do. We have a 5-year deferral policy
5
for our
years.
pregnancy.
Wow.
But it's also now, we've been listening to the community and working with the PTRA as well. So it's a policy that's also evolving and making sure that we adapt to the realities of, well, and transforming from a pregnancy policy into a child welcoming policy, so that it also includes adoption. It includes um, it's in French, it's FIV, but in IVF, sorry, IVF, and and so making sure that we're supportive of women in this whole process, and it's also there's a part of the policy that's also available to parents, so that can be husbands as well who
Oh,
are
good.
dedicated to helping their partner
Oh,
during that time where they don't have the ability to train.
good.
But the focus obviously is making sure that women feel supported and they're not feeling rushed back into competition, and that they're not starting over from scratch either, so that the runners that have worked to have such a high UTMB index, or have gotten this entry into OCC or CCC or UTMB, that they're able to delay that into a time that when they're ready, and that it's best for them and their family.
And does this, pardon me, Karen, but does these policies apply? This is very progressive.
Mhm.
Does this apply to the World Finals, Mont Blanc, or does this apply to all the events throughout the world?
Our pregnancy policy is for UTMB World Series events. Afterwards, there's specific policies for lottery races, which are, the UTMB World Series finals of OCC, CCC.
Gotcha. I see. Very good. Well, that sounds very progressive. My also understanding is that there's an informal conversation and a relationship with the Western States 100. The board of directors. Topher Gaylord's now the president of the board. He was one of the early guys who kind of put UTMB at least on the map in the United States. Is that true? I mean, do you have discussions like on what should we do to improve the sport?
Yeah, I think we have a really great working relationship, and both events are so key in the sport, and also from such different perspectives of the Western states and California, and that's such a historic race, and um but also the scale and scope is different, so there's different ways. I think it's a really beneficial relationship, in the sense that, or I would say not beneficial relationship, I would say a very complementary relationship, in the sense that both bring great perspectives to share, and also the goal is always moving the sport forward, and how can we best do that with the best information that we can have possible.
Right, right. There's been a little bit of, commentary sometimes that UTMB being such a powerful force in the sport has been moving slowly, but it's moving. That's what I'm understanding. That's what I've always heard, actually. And so I think to say, wow, we could be doing more is true, but to say you're moving along and you're very progressive is also true.
Yeah, I think, nobody's perfect. We can always do more, but I think we're also, wanting to make sure that we take steps that are well thought out, and, that are beneficial for the sport, and for the runners and the athletes that are running our races, and how can we be, a beacon in the sport, and how can we push things forward, giving visibility, and inspiring other races in other ways.
Nice, nice. Well, speaking of runners, here we are at Tahoe Trail Week, as we're now branding it unofficially. And this podcast will come out after the Western States 100 is concluded, but it's actually going to start in 3 days. And Michelle Poletti, the co-founder with his wife of the original event, of the original concept, like, can you really run around the Mont Blanc Massif? People weren't even sure if it could be done. He's here. He just turned 70. He's in the 70 and up category. And a lot of people don't realize that Michelle is a hardcore ultra runner. He's done over 100 himself. UTMB World Series, pardon me, is, been somewhat controversial, gotten a lot of attention for its massive size. But at its core, it's serious. It's very credible. It's very authentic. So, how is Michelle going to do it? Would you like to go out on a limb and say, is he going to finish?
Oh, I think he's gonna come right under the wire. I'm really excited. I think it's, he ran in 2015, he ran in 2018.
Sure.
Yeah. At Western States. And but when I was speaking with him, he said he was a lot faster a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But he's been doing. He did a slow travel, train trip, leaving from Chamonix and running different races. Through slow travel. So he's had a different kind of preparation for this race this time. But I think it's his 70th birthday present is to run Western States. So I think it'll be a really great race, and really excited to follow along on that. And UTMB, as you say, it is built by the Pallades who are passionate about trail, and the complementarity of Michelle and Catherine, that Michelle was the one running and Catherine was the one saying, and for the people that are supporting, we need to think about them, because she wasn't the one running the race. She was the one on the support crew and making it special for all the people on the other side as well. And so, yeah, it's clearly a family affair, and but there are so many people that are passionate about trail at UTMB, that are kind of behind the scenes. And
well, there's that office in downtown Chamonix.
Yeah, we're right in the heart of Chamonix.
And if you walk in the office, there's some muddy shoes at the door.
There are. And there every lunch break, there's always someone, you can always find someone to go for a run with you. And we're pretty lucky to be where we are in Chamonix for that.
Well, thank you for putting a lovely personal touch and authenticity on the sport. Because again, the UTMB World Series is a juggernaut. It's big. It's one of the most powerful voices in the sport. So thank you for fleshing it out, the progressive policies that you're undertaking, and for putting a little bit of a personal touch on it.
Oh, well, my pleasure. And, it's so important for us to be, a part of this community, and that we have such appreciation for the smallest races to the biggest races, and that it truly takes a village, in the sense, for the ultra world to flourish. And we're really happy to be a part and to guide things in the way that we can, but always listening to what people are thinking, and what's dear to their hearts as well, in terms of building this, helping to contribute our little brick to the
brick to the foundation. Thank you so much for taking your time, Karen. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. I feel like I'm with all my friends. This is Buzz Burrell, and I'll be back 2 weeks from today, delivering more thoughts you've probably never heard before. This podcast is a production of Ultra Sign Up and releases every other Tuesday, alternating with The Trailhead with Zoe Rome and Brendan Leonard. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and click that button that says 5 stars, because that helps other people find this.